Everybody, I'm Ann Quinn with Carnegie Public Library, and we're starting a new segment that we're really excited about, and it's called Tell Me Your Story. And as librarians and super readers, I'm always curious, what are you reading? Who are your favorite authors? How did you get started? Like, did your parents read to you when you were really young? What were your favorite series? What motivated you when you were a child? And so we're just very curious about your reading habits, and that's what this is going to be about. This is also National Library Week, and so we're kicking this off with our first guest, who is the director of the library, Sarah Nichols. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Ann. It's so nice to see you.
I know, we've been not working for a while, so
Yeah.
this is really nice to be back in the library. So I'll get started with my first question. Do you remember your favorite book as a child?
So when I was very young, I remember The Pokey Little Puppy.
Oh, a classic. Yeah.
That was probably one of my favorites that my mom would read to me.
Yeah.
And
Those little golden books.
Yes, the little golden books. And the Berenstain Bears. We had a lot of Berenstain Bear books.
You like those?
Yes, I liked them a whole lot.
Yeah.
So as a young child, those were probably my favorites.
Okay. Do you remember do you remember the moment when you knew that you could read? Like in school maybe, where it went click, I know that word. I can read.
I cannot say that I recall that moment.
You just always have been reading.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously there was some kind of transition there, but no, I don't recall when I started and when I could comprehend.
Okay. Do you remember when you really got into reading? Because I didn't really get into reading until 4th grade. Second,
Yeah.
third, I was kind of like, yeah, but 4th grade is when it hit for me.
Well, it's funny you say that because 4th grade was the same for me. My 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Harris, had a library in her room. Of course, we had a library at the school, but she had a library in her room, and we could go back and choose whatever book we liked, and we had quiet reading time. And then that's probably around the age when I started reading some of my favorites then, which were
Yes, what were they?
Little House on the Prairie series.
Yes.
And then, of course, my other favorite, Island of the Blue Dolphins.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Comes up all the time, but those are that was about that time that I started really loving to read.
Were you a mystery reader? Did you get into the Nancy Drew, or like for me, it was Trixie Belden? Did you have that phase?
I think I liked more historical fiction and some adventure.
Okay.
So mysteries, I actually didn't start reading mysteries until a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Okay. So what about your teen years? Were you a big reader in your teen years, and who did you follow? Who did you read?
Well, in thinking back on this, it occurred to me that a couple of influences were pretty important in my teen years for reading. So I had my required reading in school, and it was hit or miss. Some of it I liked, some of it I didn't. But then we had a little bookstore in town, and they featured titles from Oprah's book club.
Oh.
And her book club started in 1996, and so I would have been in high school at that point.
Oh, you are young, Sarah.
No, not compared to some people who are watching, I'm sure not. But that would have been how I discovered Toni Morrison.
Yep.
And Wally Lamb.
Yes, was that the first book, Wally Lamb?
I think it was.
Yes.
I think it was. And so when I started reading fiction, that was more of an adult, from an adult perspective. And I started to love fiction at that point, which I really hadn't very much in the in-between years. The other thing that was happening in the 90s was zines were huge. So people were making and producing their own zines, and so anything that I could get my hands on that was subversive or that was different, I wanted it.
Ooh.
And so my friends and I were reading a whole lot, but it just wasn't what was readily available anywhere. It was what we could get our hands on or what we could trade. So,
Okay.
But we were reading.
When did you decide you wanted to be a librarian?
That was actually when I was working at my first library job.
Okay.
So I had graduated from OU and was working at Lakewood Public Library in Lakewood, Ohio, up by Cleveland. And when I realized for myself it was the perfect marriage of finding information and helping people. And so once I put that together and again rediscovered that love of reading that I had, it was like, well, this is perfect. I couldn't think of anything better to do.
I know.
Yeah.
We're blessed that
Yes,
we found
very much so.
we found our thing that we're supposed to be in this lifetime. Do you prefer hard book, or do you like electronic books best?
I'm okay either way. It really depends on what I'm reading. I started listening to audiobooks this year too, which was something I'd not done before. But I'm finding, specifically in periods where I'm having a hard time reading, like right now, I have a hard time concentrating, that audiobooks can be a big help. So, and I've been using the Libby app, and I can just plug it on my phone. And
that Libby app is pretty wonderful, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I like when I travel. I really like having, like to be able to read on the tablet rather than lug. On vacations, I used to lug like 10 books with me.
Yeah, that's half the luggage.
So this is really nice and convenient. Okay, are you reading anything special right now?
I can't say that I am. I really am having a hard time reading right now. I did pick up a book from a friend, and I can't remember the title right now, and it's nonfiction. It's sort of some spiritual guidance, and it just seemed to be the right thing to read. But I haven't. I think I've only finished one book, and that was a book I started before the shutdown.
It's interesting
it's just
how
hard
people
to concentrate.
React to these stressful times. Okay, so is there anything you're binge watching on TV?
Nothing worth sharing. I like my TV to be as, how do I say this, unrewarding as possible. So I am not really binge watching anything. Although we were able to get Disney Plus, so I have been streaming the National Geographic shows and documentaries, which I love. Yes. So I guess I'm streaming nature shows. Okay. But I have also rediscovered some music that I hadn't listened to in a long time. Okay. So that's been enjoyable.
Okay. So when your son Chris was little, did you read to him a lot?
Oh yes.
Yes. Yeah. And like even when he was able to read on his own, did you still like read out loud to him?
Well, actually, so once he grew up a little bit, he could read on his own. I didn't read to him as much as his dad did.
Okay, and that's great. I love dads reading to their kids.
He read and performed the whole Harry Potter series.
Oh, I could see Chris doing that.
You know, Dave read to Chris, yes, and performed with the voices and everything. So they did that. They did Rick Riordan series.
Yep.
And they did, there was another series, I can't recall what it was right now. So probably, for most of elementary school and middle school, or up until middle school, I suppose, Dave read aloud almost every evening.
Oh, that's great. Yes. That's wonderful. Yeah, good memories.
Yes. Oh, it's so sweet, and I love to hear them. And of course, that was my time when I could go and read. So I would go back to the bedroom and read my own book, but I could still hear them. And it was nice.
Do you ever go back and reread, like 3 or 4 times? That you like a book so much, you just have to get it out every now and then and reread?
There are only 2 books I've ever reread.
Okay.
You know one.
The Blue Dolphin.
Yes, Island of the Blue Dolphins.
Yes.
And the other is Eleanor and Park.
Yes.
By Rainbow Rowell.
Yes.
And that's one of my all-time favorite books. And those are the only 2 that I've reread. Yes. Yeah. So I'm not much of a rereader. There are too many books out there.
I'm not too much, but there's a couple. Like if I can't get started with something, I may pull something out and just read a few pages.
Sure.
Yeah. And for me, that's you're not going to believe it. The K Mutiny by Herman Wouk. I know. Who would have thought that would be my book? But
it's your go-to reread.
That's my go-to reread. I never get tired of that. So, okay, is there anything that you're looking forward to reading? Like once you're able to kind of get back into it, because sometimes that happens to me too.
Yeah.
That I just can't. I go through a spate where I cannot read.
Yeah, and I used to be really concerned by that, but now I give myself the space and I try different things. You know, I get a dozen books, and if none of them grabs hold, then that's okay too. I'm looking forward to reading Lisa Wingate's new title. I can't remember what the title is right now.
Okay.
And then I would like to continue with Ken Follett's series.
Yes.
And as we're talking about rereading, I'm thinking, gosh, I would love to reread Pillars of the Earth. But
that was wonderful.
It's so huge.
It is about 1,200 pages.
Yes, so I'm like, I don't know if I can put in that kind of time. But definitely the Lisa Wingate book.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Sarah. I've enjoyed chatting about some of your reading habits, and I can't wait till we can reopen and see our public again. And
I so miss our staff.
I
and
do.
Our patrons. I miss everybody.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, tune in. We're going to do this once a week. And I'm so glad that you were our first guest.
Thank you, Ann.